Guys, so we have just completed the prelims 2025 and we are up with the questions. Guys, from the very first look, it looks like the question is not that very hard, whatever the trend has continued in yesteryears. Especially for history, if I'd like to say, there is question related to self-respect movement, the question related to Gandhi. You have one very easy question, Mohenjo-daro, that dancing girl. Okay, so we will discuss about all those, and most of these questions we have already discussed in our live classes at Shikara Academy special batches. But right now we are with Deepika ma'am, who will be discussing the questions for polity. We have Dinesh sir, will be discussing the questions for geography. We also have Chaman sir, who will be discussing the questions for science and tech and the current affairs, and handing it over to our respected Deepika ma'am. Ma'am, please.
You can see the image of the question paper right now on your screens. This is the question paper. We are displaying set B. I feel that the paper is, at the look of it, we did not read it in detail, but at the look of it, the paper seems to be a little easy. There have been direct questions like, if you see this 98 question, it says, who was the founder of self-respect movement? So things like this are pretty easy because you usually read them. But how is it for each subject? Let's understand. So Chaman, science and technology, what do you think of the questions that have been asked?
Oh, science and technology, like all the previous trends, has been dominated by the current affairs and the current happenings that has been taking place. So they have asked questions about the Indian Railways Kavach system, the RTGS the RFID technology, because the railway accidents were in news. They have asked the question about the events like AI summit that happened in Feb this year. Moreover, they have asked about the SpaceX missions and the space mission, Axiom 4 and all. Regarding microgravity was in news, so microgravity is in the question paper. And moreover, they have asked an environmental and science-based question like the artificial rains, the chemicals that are used in artificial rains to tackle the pollution. So all these different topics that they have asked have fairly been in the news in the past 12 months or so. I won't say it dates way back, but it is the 10 to 12 months that they have focused this year. And the sheer amount of words and the paper has been dominated by the current affairs and the length. The sheer amount of words that a student has to read in this question paper is has gone up a notch. So speed will be the key in this particular question paper.
Yeah. And what about you, Dinesh? How were the questions on geography?
Ma'am, geography questions were not so analytic. For example, if you see one question we have on Siberia and Alaska, if like time zone, we have two questions on time zone. Generally, UPSC doesn't ask questions on time zone. Maximum one they'll ask, but this time we have seen two questions. And we have questions on minerals and countries, in which countries we have what type of minerals, particularly regarding to the EV minerals, where we use lithium and nickel, where for EV batteries, all the minerals were regarded to EV stuff. And we have different countries that have been asked and what cities are in which countries they have been asked. So out of like 10 random questions we see in geography, 6 are related to map pointing or locating about world map. That is where crucial this year was, rather than going into analytics this time. Yes, we have questions of analytics, but questions were simple this time. Ones who have a very basic of atlas and world geography can do at least 50% of the questions, 50 to 60% of the questions he can solve it.
So as we usually say, map pointing, referring to the atlas is very, very important. And this paper has proved that. What about economy? How have the questions on economy been?
Yeah, so in economy, what is the trend this year is like they have upped the notch a bit. For the past years, they used to just ask the theoretical based question. Now they have asked the applications. They have given numericals, they have given numbers, and they have asked have asked questions based on that. So about the deficits and all that stuff. So the applied part of economy is in the game, I think. Yeah.
Okay. And as far as my area is concerned, I see a lot of questions that have been asked on application side, meaning how they are implemented policies or laws. For example, there is a question on Lokpal, on the composition and all. Unless you read it a little in detail, answering it would be difficult because there are 4 points, but otherwise it is balanced because you have questions which are direct and simple, which can be easily solved. You don't have to really uh, go into depth to solve them. Like the ordinance question is something that we usually discuss in the class. Also, there have been questions on ministries, departments, which usually students tend to skip. And these details you get in India Yearbook. So I feel that India Yearbook, the chapter on polity, the chapter on governance, ministries, departments, students have to read it once because anytime they can ask, and this time there has been a question on this. Apart from this, current affairs, a lot of areas I feel is based on current affairs, but any questions exclusively on current affairs, Chaman?
Yes, ma'am. So basically, all of like what I can say is that the 20 to 30% of the questions are directly inspired from the current affairs. Yeah, be it of the science and tech, economy has been in the news, and some of the questions are like they are of the mixed nature. Like you can't decipher it whether that question has come from geography or science. So I can see, yeah. So I can see a question based on some rocks and those. So they have talked about the permeability of chalk and all that. So the basic science and basic geography. So this question paper is most I would say is applied in nature.
Applied geography, yes.
Yeah.
And if you see, so one question in polity, it's interesting. They asked about governor, court, whether governor is answerable to the court, whether criminal procedures will be made against the governor or not. As we
That
can
was in
see,
the
this
news.
governor issue going on. They asked this question,
That was
most
in,
expected.
yeah, that was also in the news. But hope so that they don't go haywire like that, what they have done, the mishap in their answer key this year. But from the history side, I'm very surprised. I was literally not hoping that there will be answers this easy. As already ma'am has mentioned that there is a direct question. Well, Periyar was in news. That is a reason Periyar was in news. So we have a question related to self-respect movement. Then a question that we have for Gandhi. You need to have a thorough study for it, though, because we have gone through it a lot of times, so we are finding it easy. Maybe the aspirants, especially the I'll say one thing. If you have seen the trends of UPSC 2024, the toppers, you'll see many of the toppers are the repeaters. They have given multiple attempts, and they are having one advantage over the first movers is that they are having the thorough studies. So that is one thing which is helping. And the time has gone for the first attempters as I can't say for all of them, but you need to have the thorough studies. It's not going to go with like just the one liners, or you'll just go through some of the material, just skimming through it. It's not going to help you. Well,
Agreed. And
yes,
Pratyush sir,
yeah,
like last year they tend to ask the modern, they try to neglect the modern history. They ask just 2 or 3 questions. So,
yeah,
but this year they have asked a lot of questions, but most of them are direct. Like, had a
yes,
student skipped the modern
that
history.
is what I'm saying, Chaman sir. That is exactly what we are seeing. We have not yet gone through all the questions of history, but
Exactly.
whatever the first few questions I have seen, that is not something that you have to go on searching from which source it has come from or from where it has come. It's not like that. If someone has done the thorough study, they will get all the answers. And if one trend again continues that we were also discussing in our classes, and Chaman sir, you also mentioned about it. There are questions related to the prizes, awards, bouquets, who won the chess Olympiad, or there is a
Yeah,
question
sports waste.
related to sports.
Whenever a person of an Indian sportsman achieves something big in that sports,
Yeah,
they incorporate that question in that year frames. So I have
exactly.
seen this in 2021 after the Olympics and the
Exactly.
ICC Test Championship, and now they have asked about Gukesh.
Yes, yes, right. And similarly, what we were also discussing with Dinesh, that the importance of map in the geography questions. And sir was also mentioning that there are many of the questions, if you have gone through the map, and sir will explain it better, that what's the importance of maps while you're going through the current affairs, especially the geography related questions? Dinesh sir.
Yes, sir. We have questions, map point questions based on rivers, based on minerals, whatnot, sir. Take anything, for example, on the screen you can see right now, or maybe world geography, Indian geography, rivers, minerals, whatever the topic you take, he included that with the map. I think, for example, see Andes Mountains passes through how many of the following countries? So generally, we get to questions like what are the characteristics of Andes Mountains, or maybe what are the minerals you get. But this time, majority of the questions like, see, the countries which we have, right? So he was very keen into maths. He was like moving from traditional book oriented to completely application oriented in geography and also in all the subjects for that matter.
Yeah,
And
I
Yes.
just went through before I'll just wrap it up, and then it will be Deepika ma'am giving her views. I just saw two questions. One question is directly asked from Raja Ram Mohan Roy, and again I will say it's a question where if you have a thorough study of Raja Ram Mohan Roy, very easily you'll be able to cross it. And you also have a question related to non-cooperation movement. So, guys, this is something which I believe is very surprising for me, at least. We were expecting it to be not that easy because those were the yesteryear trends. Ma'am, if you have seen any of the questions related to polity, we were seeing that there was a question related to president and all. Would you like to give your views on that?
Yeah, I was actually looking for the polity question. See, 51st question that is visible on the screen right now is related to panchayats. And over the last 15 years, almost every year, there has been one question on local self-government. But this question is a little in detail. The first option says panchayats at the intermediary level exist in all states, which is not true. Because according to the constitution, if you have a population of 20 lakhs or less, you need not have the intermediary level. It is not mandatory to have intermediary level. So that kind of detailed study, usually what happens is whenever we say panchayats, people think only of the three levels. They will not go into the details and try to understand whether all the three levels are compulsory in all the states or not. So first option is eliminated. Once you eliminate the first option, if you come to the options that you have, A, C, and D automatically get eliminated. So you arrive at the right answer, that would be B. Because first option is wrong. Panchayat at the intermediate level exists in all states is incorrect. It is not compulsory to have it in all states. So this is how you can use the elimination technique. To be eligible to be a member of a panchayat at the intermediary level, a person should attain the age of 30 years is also incorrect. So not correct, you have to identify. 1 and 2 are incorrect. Because 21 is the chief minister of a state constitutes a commission to review the financial position of panchayats at the intermediate levels and to make recommendations regarding the distribution. This is also incorrect. The first line itself, the finance commission is actually constituted by the governor. So we have to go for all the options, that is D, 1, 2, 3 are incorrect. So this is how you have to look at it. Then the next questions that were asked on polity, as I said, Lokpal, this question actually needs an in-depth understanding of the provisions of Lokpal. The power of Lokpal applies to public servants of India, but not the Indian public servants posted outside India is not given. According to the Lokpal Act, it is applicable to all public servants. The chairman or member shall not be a member of parliament, member of legislature. This is also given, and only the Chief Justice of India, whether incumbent or retired, has to be its chairman, is not given. So you have to know the details of Lokpal because this is related to the qualifications and composition of Lokpal. This question was not, I mean, Lokpal was not in news frequently. This question has been taken from the static part. Basically, in polity, what I've observed over the years and in this paper also is, मेंस का जो सिलेबस है वो पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है. मेंस का सिलेबस में जो भी एरियाज इंक्लूडेड है उनको अच्छे से पढ़ना है, बिकॉज इफ यू गो बाय द कन्वेंशनल पॉलिटी सिलेबस, लोकपाल इज समथिंग दैट पीपल विल जस्ट ट्राई टू नो whether it is a constitutional body or not, what is its composition, how many members will be there, what are their qualifications. But these conditions of service, Lokpal is perhaps the only office in India where the minimum maximum age is specified. For example, the third part talks about the minimum age. It specifies both the minimum and maximum age. So essay details ke liye, you have to read it in detail. This question was very lengthy. I'm sure a lot of people would not be able to answer it because that kind of in-depth reading is important. Now, this is another question on parliamentary procedures and role of speaker. Role of speaker, parliamentary procedures was asked almost every year. It is an issue of discussion every time. This question also is lengthy. It basically talks about dissolution of the House of the People. The speaker shall not vacate her office until immediately before the first meeting of the House of the People. Basically, dissolution is followed by elections. After elections, again, the new Lok Sabha is formed. The office of Speaker is not till the new Lok Sabha is formed, until the first session of the new Lok Sabha, because Speaker is the link between Parliament and President. So you cannot have the office of Speaker vacant. The first option is correct. So when we say the first option is correct, B is automatically eliminated. According to the provisions of the Constitution of India, a member of the House of People, on being elected as Speaker, shall resign from her political party immediately is incorrect. In India, we don't have a compulsion that the Speaker has to resign. But when it comes to Britain, it is compulsory that the Speaker is not associated with any political party. So 2 is incorrect. We have to eliminate the second option. We arrive at C as our correct answer because automatically the 3 will be correct. Third option will be correct. We don't have any other option. The Speaker of the House of the People may be removed from her office by a resolution of the House of the People passed by the majority of the then members is very important. The then members, it has effective majority. A lot of times people miss out, and a lot of books have mentioned it as special majority, but it is special majority. It is called effective majority. Total strength minus vacancies divided by 2 is how we calculate it, provided with a 14 days notice period. So 1 and 3 is correct. Questions like these need a lot of patience to read. You have to read every word in the question, because towards the end he might twist in. Instead of 14 days, he could have given 10 days. So it is very, very important that you're patient enough to read all these questions. Likewise, you have another question related to disqualification. If any question arises as to whether a member of House of People has been subject to disqualification under the 10th schedule, the President's decision in accordance with the opinion of the Council of Ministers is shall be final is incorrect, because 10th schedule deals with the anti-defection law, and under anti-defection law, it is the Speaker who takes the decision. And anti-defection law has been continuously in news over the last couple of years. There have been several cases filed in the court. There have been several directives given by the Supreme Court on how the law functions. Speaker is the one who decides. There is right now also, with regard to Telangana, there is a case going on in Supreme Court. So this, I would say, is current based as per my analysis. There is no mention of the word political party in the Constitution of India. Is true. Nowhere in the Constitution you'll find the word political party. We usually tell students to be careful about what is given in the Constitution directly and what is not given. For example, judicial review, judicial activism. Judicial review is something that we talk about on and off. Public interest litigation. These terms are never mentioned in the Constitution. For that matter, even the word federation is not mentioned in the Constitution. So you should be careful about what is mentioned in the Constitution, what is not. The biggest challenge in answering polity questions is that whenever you look at a question, your answer will depend on what is asked in the question. If it is a question with direct reference to what is given in Constitution, you should only identify that which is correct or which is given in the Constitution. And at times, what happens is the terms which we generally use. For example, I'm sure most of the students would have noticed this. The term budget is not mentioned in the Constitution. And the question says, according to the Constitution, Article 112 deals with the budget or something. If the word budget is mentioned, then the option becomes incorrect because nowhere in the Constitution the word budget is mentioned. But if they generally give a statement on budget without referring to the Constitution, depending on the statement, you have to decide whether it is right or wrong. So this is how polity subject is easy to read, but when it comes to answering, application becomes difficult.
Thank you, Deepika ma'am. And guys, that was our esteemed faculty, Deepika ma'am. You can see live she's solving the questions, and we were not getting any opportunity to say about ours. If any viewers have joined us live now, we are going through the papers of UPSC Prelims 2025, and what we have observed till now, what Polity ma'am has observed, and what I have observed for history. The questions look to be easy if you have done the thorough studies. If you have just came through it, then it's not going to work for you. We have questions for history. I'll just again say, and then I like Dinesh sir and Chaman sir to mention about their subjects, that is geography and science and tech and current affairs respectively. We have question related to Raja Ram Mohan Roy. We have question related to a traveler again, and that too again a Chinese traveler. These are few things which like it's bread and butter. If you are studying for prelims and if you are preparing for UPSC, then these are some things which you should know. This is you will prepare it for first. And we also have a question related to a musical school and Ahsoka's question, guys. Ahsoka is there, so the trend is nothing that which is going to be very hard, or it is something that you have not expected. Rather, it is something which I did not expect, because I considered going from the yesteryears, the question trend had to be not this. We have questions related to modern history. Modern history was being neglected. We were seeing from last 2 years especially. But right now we are just on the process of bringing you the answer key and also the detailed answers for each question. But I'd like Dinesh sir. Sir, please show some points upon the question.
For example, if you can take question number 5, sir. Please, question number 5. Yeah. See, consider the following substances. Coal gasification. Generally, we talk about coal gasification in classes, no, sir, how coal is formed and all. But he asked about coal gasification technology can be used in the production of the which of the following terms. For example, urea we know, ethanol you know, but glycerin and all we generally it's nowhere mentioned, sir. Generally, ethanol and urea is what we commonly prescribe in any of the standard books. But he went beyond what we can get in common books or in any of the NCRTs or no. Glycerin generally we won't use coal gasification, but see how they have asked about. For example, if you take question number 11, sir, in the next page, which is also like very complex options they have asked. The question was easy. Question was very easy, but if you look at the options, they were like half twist and turn he has given in the options. For example, he asked about cement industry, he asked about silica, he asked about limestone, but option 2 and 3 will not justify option 1. Option 2 will justify option 3 or not. He twisted the options, sir. Questions were quite easy. For example, if you take question number 13 also, right? I think 3-4 days back, I don't know, there was this coronal mass ejection or solar flares that is coming. NASA has given it 1 week back. Yes, sir. NASA has given 1 week back that this is very important, urgent concern for the whole world, that every country should take care of this coronal mass ejection, that anything can happen anytime. And it was in UPSC this today. I don't know when this paper was made. Just 1 week time when NASA has given it. And the twist of questions in question number 11, for example.
That's something the students have to look forward now, sir, because we used to think that the questions are made 1 or 2 months before. So you don't have to go through the current affairs of 15 days back or 1 month back. With that, I'll just like all of the educators give a viewpoint of the cutoffs. What do you think? And also along with that, if there is some trend changes you find in the questions right now, Chaman sir, please.
Yeah, so the biggest trend change, the biggest change that I have observed this year is that now, like earlier, they used to write statement 1, statement 2, and then ask about whether statement 2 explains statement 1 or not. Now they have added a third statement and asking us to correlate whether the 2 statements out of the 2 statements, which one is correlating with that and something like that. So the length of the question. So on one page, I'm seeing only 3 questions this year. in many of the pages. So the amount of reading, the length of the question paper has gone up substantially. So a student not only has to be well read and thorough for his preparation, but for the question paper itself, he or she has to attempt many of the mock papers and has to increase his or her speed.
That's true. That's true, Chaman sir. Yeah, Dinesh sir, what according to you, the questions that you have seen from geography and Deepika ma'am, the questions from polity that you have seen, as far as I have seen from history, I think the cutoffs from last year or from 2023, it will go up. What are your points first, Dinesh sir, and then Deepika ma'am?
Yes, sir. The questions in geography, environment for that matter, economy is quite difficult, I do accept. But in geography environment, it is quite easy. One who has have all the basics, yes, they can definitely get 70 to 80% of all the geography questions without any mistake. So in that manner, I can say cutoff will be increased when compared to last year. So definitely geography will have the increase of cutoff percentage. So it may, I don't want to say the number, but it will definitely go up when compared to the last year,
Yes.
sir.
And in science also the questions are pretty much taken from the current affairs. So a student who has a candidate who has gone through the current affairs effectively, him or she might score really well in the science section. So in my opinion, I had a very first glance and that prima facie glance of the question paper. I think the cutoff will be, and it's like around 90 to 95. 92 was the cutoff in 2020. So it will remain like there as well. So for as compared to 2023, it might go up 4 or 5 months.
Well, that's what you heard from our expert Chaman sir and Venkat sir. Now, Deepika ma'am, what do you think? The cutoffs are
I
rising or not?
totally agree with Chaman. I don't see the cutoff going beyond 95 because, overall paper, if you analyze, first thing we have to understand is the questions, some of the questions are really very lengthy. So they take time to read it, digest it, answer it. So the length of the paper will be a challenge like every year. Actually, when you compare 2011, the pattern has changed to CSAT and general studies. 2011 to 2020, 25, 15 years of papers, we notice that every year the length of the paper is gradually increasing. Gradually, they're shifting from conventional areas to non-conventional and application-based questions. Gradually, the basic things that are in news. For example, previously they've asked questions related to police custody, judicial custody. These are some things which we come across in news frequently with regard to my subject. They've been asking these things over a period of time. Now, will students be aware of this? Will they go into the depth to understand the concepts of this? Is something that it's debatable, but I feel that the cutoff will conventionally remain around 90 to 95. It should not go beyond that.
Again, it may depend on the difficulty of the paper too also, ma'am, I think.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it can also be a point that we are getting very excited, especially I'm getting very excited. So I think that the paper was easy, but maybe, it's just the first trends that we are going through. We have not analyzed the complete paper yet. But do you find, Chaman sir, did you see any of the questions related to the awards and the sports? And if you can just discuss which particular question was mentioned.
So, sir, on a primitive glance, I haven't gone through question on. I haven't come across a question on the awards. I haven't gone through all the 100. So,
Okay.
yeah, in sports, there is a question on chess, and regarding the events, we had a question on the AI summit that happened in Feb. So these were the main core current affairs thing. And as Dinesh sir also mentioned, the paper two, the CSAT will decide the cutoff. Like in 2023, paper was relatively easy as compared to 2022. The vagueness was there, so paper was a bit easy, but the CSAT, the sheer amount of stress the CSAT gave to the students are down there, so the cutoff fell to 75. Unprecedented, we have seen that thing happening, but let's pray and let's hope the trend doesn't recur this year. So it should be a healthy cutoff around 90 to 95 based on the paper one.
Right. So, guys, we are just ready with some of our history questions, at least to show you. And with that, we will also see the trend talks continues over here. And you will see, we'll be talking about the questions related to awards and also the current affairs, whatever have come. Right now, I'll just like to show my questions which are related to history. Just a second. Is my screen visible to all of you?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So if you can see, if this question is visible to you, consider the following statements about Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay. So if you just can see the options, he possessed great love and respect for traditional philosophical system of the East. Just a disclaimer, guys. This is we are doing on the very first stage, so it might not be that we are doing it very correct. Okay, but as far as our knowledge, we are just trying to give you the first friend's answers. Okay, so if you go through it, he possessed great love and respect for traditional philosophical system of the East. Okay, so he was one of the individual who had thorough studies of the Upanishads and also of the Puranas. Okay, so you can say that this option can be correct. He desired his countrymen to accept the rational and scientific approach and the principle of human dignity and social equality of all men and women. And when you talk about especially women, he was the one who, along with Lord William Bentinck, fought against the sati system. Okay, and they brought a ban to it. So I will believe the right answer will be both. Okay, and you can see the correct explanation also here. I'll just run through the different questions. If you want the slides, if you want the PDF, it will be there on our Telegram channel also. And guys, with that, I forgot to tell you, we are also launching UPSC live batches, TSPSC live batches, and the link is in the description and also in the comments, so you can join there. Nonetheless, let's just get going. You have a question for non-cooperation program. Boycott of law courts and foreign clothes, that is something which is related observance of strict non-violence. This is something which you can say that maybe it is something which you can think about, that is it right or wrong, because non-cooperation movement ends with Chauri Chaura incident, and there were also some of the other violence movements. So strict, this word we say that if you have to use the elimination technique, we discussed when we were discussing the elimination technique, this some of the words you have to have a deeper look. What Deepika ma'am was saying, that you should not just skim through the questions also. So retention of all titles and honors. Now, again, see, retention, why you will have the retention? You like to give away the awards. We are not with the Britishers, man. So this is again something which I think will be wrong. Establishment of panchayats for settling disputes. Okay, so there can be the answers is given here, but we can have the discussion later. Let's see the next question. Okay, the next question. You have the question. Okay, so we were seeing this the surrender, not retention. This is something. Okay, strict non-violence. Here we are going through that. Yes, it was observed. Something that we have to see. The irrigation device called Araghatta. If you have seen this, this is something like this. Something like this. If you, okay, my drawing is not that good, but I'm trying my level best. Okay, so supposingly here is a whale. Okay, consider it a whale. I know it's not looking like a whale. So here is a whale, and there it is. It is a Persian wheel that they made, and you know, the water was coming out. The water was coming out in the earthen pots. Okay, so what will be the right answer here? The Araghatta. A larger wheel and earthen pots tied to the outer ends of the spokes. Okay, B should be the right answer over here. Again, it's the earlier trends. Maybe we will look forward to it and again and see what is the right answer over there. Okay. And one of the last question that I'm going to discuss, and then I'll hand it over to Deepika ma'am. Who among the following rulers in ancient India had assumed the title Mat, Vilasa, and then you have Gunabhara and the Vichitra Chitta? Okay, so this is a straightforward question. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. The right answer is Mahendra Varman I. Okay, so those were a few of the questions. Yes, this, as I said, you Fahen. This is again a straightforward question, and you should know. You should know. I'm not going to say the answer to it. You should know about it. Okay, if you're preparing, you should know. And anyways, let's get going to Deepika ma'am. Ma'am, please.
I'll discuss a few more questions on polity with the keys. So let's look at them. I hope the screen is visible.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. 51, I have already given the answer. All three statements are incorrect. As on date in India, Arunachal Pradesh does not have an intermediary level in the Panchayat Raj system. So D would be the right answer for this. Now moving forward, 53. Who among the following are members of the jury to select the recipient of Gandhi Peace Prize? One thing that students should remember is all awards that are given by the government or associated by the government, which are considered prestigious in India, will usually be asked. You should know about the award, when it started, what is the criteria for selection, who will be in the jury, right from Bharat Ratna, the Padma Awards, the Jnanpith Award. There are a few awards that we are supposed to know. And Gandhi Peace Prize, this is not the first time they're asking. It was asked earlier also. Now in this, the only incorrect option would be the President of India. President of India will not be there. We will have the Prime Minister, Chief Justice, Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha. Then there'll be two eminent persons who are appointed into the jury. So the right answer for this would be 2, 3, and 4. Now moving forward, likewise, this question also, I have already given you the answer about it. 2 is incorrect. 2 will not be there. There is no rule in the constitution that the speaker has to resign. Okay, so 2 is incorrect. 1 is correct. 3 is correct. The right answer would be 1 and 3. Now, this particular question on 10th schedule also I have already explained. Now, moving forward, this is related to minor minerals, even though such minerals are located in their territory. Basically, this is related to the 7th schedule, and most of the times questions on the 7th schedule are being asked. The next question that is related to polity. There is one question on limited liability on pardoning powers of the president. The question is very interesting and important. The question goes like this. It says that the courts have limited judicial review power on pardoning powers of the president. It is true. Many people are not aware what is this limited judicial review power. See, basically, when the court says only in certain situations we are going to interfere, it means it is limiting. Every decision of the president when pardoning somebody cannot be questioned in the court. The court will not interfere in every decision. Only when the decision is not based on proper facts, only when the decision is malified, then the court will interfere. Court has clearly set out certain conditions under which it will interfere into the pardoning powers of the president. So it is limited judicial review. That is very true. I'm not able to locate the question, but I'm going to answer the remaining question. Polity. Meanwhile, I'll ask Chaman to look at a few S&T questions and if we can give a few answers on it.
Yes, ma'am. So, Professor, can you, I have to share the screen for the first.
So just mention the question number. I'll show the question.
Okay, sir, come to the first page. First page, science and tech is enough there. Yeah. So in this first question itself, the types of vehicles. So we see that it's generally 2 or 3 years. It's a recurring topic, the different type of vehicles that are in use. So the question reads, consider the following types of vehicles: full battery electric vehicles, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, and fuel cell electric hybrid vehicles. How many of the above are considered as alternative powertrain? So the traditional powertrain is of the internal combustion engine. Other than that, all the others can be considered alternative. So yeah, full battery EVs are there. It's correct. Hydrogen fuel cell vehicles are there. Example, Toyota Mirai that the Minister Nitin Gadkari, he travels in. And the fuel cell and electric hybrid vehicles are also under consideration. So all the 3 statements are correct in this exam. And if we come to question number 2, so this is with reference to unmanned aerial vehicles. So we have the 3 statements over there. So as an elimination method, we can do like it writes that all types of UAVs can do vertical landing, and all types of UAVs can do automated hovering, and all types of UAVs can use battery only as a source of power supply. So the statement 3 is outrightly incorrect because it, first of all, it uses the word all and only two of the sweeping words. Like they can use the solar power, they can use the hydrocarbons ka power. So statement 3 is incorrect. Statement 1 is also, in my opinion, will be incorrect because it writes the all has. Because, but some of the UAVs, they have a fixed wing. So they need some certain sort of platform or runway to take off. And
Okay,
then other we have.
Chaman sir, I'm so sorry to cut you in middle. You please continue. But Dinesh sir, have you got how many number of questions are coming from which particular
Yes, sir. I
subjects?
just counted all the questions,
Yeah,
sir.
please.
Surprisingly, geography and environment, we have 23 questions, sir,
Wow,
including
that's
map pointing.
roofing number.
Wow.
Wow.
22 to 23, sir. One question, there is a chance it can be current affairs or geography. And economy, we have almost 12 questions, sir, 12 to 13 questions. Of course, current affairs questions are 6 in that Indian economy. And polity, we're about 7 plus 4, almost 13 questions in polity, sir. In that, we have 8, which are like, I think, current trend are there. History, 13 to 15 questions, sir. As I can see, approximately you can say 14 questions. 14 questions in history, sir.
Okay.
Science, we have 8 questions outrightly, but again, that are linked with current affairs. So
Okay.
one thing, sir, geography was, I think, one of the most weightiest. 23 questions I got, sir. 23 questions, environment, geography, and map pointing.
And if I say, is it going against the trend, sir, or was it the
Yes, sir.
trend
Yes, sir.
continuing?
Because economy should be highest. Generally, after polity should be nowhere less than 18 questions every year. But I don't know, this time they have stick to 14 questions. And economy, generally 17 to 18 questions should be there. It was 13 questions now. But geography, which should be 18 questions, 17 questions, it was 23 questions. History, it was like as usual, 18 to 16. It is 14 this time. But we can
Almost
find.
doubled. I guess history is almost doubled from last time at least.
Yes, sir. Including modern, medieval, and no, everything, sir. Freedom
Yes.
struggle.
Yes.
But
Yes.
this time we got more questions of international importance and current affairs, sir. Current affairs question, outrightly, we have so many current affairs questions which are moderate to difficult. But science questions, I felt something easy. Chaman, sir, do you agree? Science questions not so
Yeah,
Chaman sir, the
difficult.
science.
number of questions this year, the trend, does it continues or not? And do you find any surprising questions?
Yes, sir. We find surprising questions in environment. In environment, difficulty was increased, sir. For example, as on screen we can see fifth question. For example, half difficulty he has made one option. Remaining 2 options were correct, but throughout the trend 99, 97, 90, 90, 97, 99, 100, 96, all these geography questions were
Well,
more of.
this was pointed out by Chaman sir that UPSC is going to make the life of aspirants not easy. That
Yes, yes, sir.
if the question is very short, then you have limited number of options, and if it is the long, then you have to consider all the options. Yes, Chaman sir, I just wanted to ask you that what do you think the science trend, is it continuing or not, and do you find any of the surprise questions?
No, science may, what I found is like this question number 6, okay, if we can come. This is somewhat like mainstream, it was not that much covered. Like China did a test also, something like that, CL20, HMX, and LLM 105. So on one reading, and I don't think people will, like most of the candidates will do it correctly. But the correct answer will be these are explosives that are used in military. I don't know, like whether for the past 20 days we were having this Operation Sindoor or and they asked such sort of question. But the military explosive, I don't know. This was a bit of a out of the
Ma'am,
box question.
this is the talk of the hour. What do you think, ma'am? Are they setting the questions just 1 week before the exams, or is it something that they have already planned and now we are just connecting the dots?
I don't think the paper will be set 1 week before, Tiwari ji. They will at least take 15, 20 days. Having said that, yes, they are trying to make the paper, it's a mix, not everything that is constantly focused will be asked. There will be those areas which are not usually focused, usually read, should also be asked because every year UPSC has some surprise or the other in the paper. Firstly, when IFOS prelims was integrated with UPSC, there was a lot of discussion that because IFOS is also having a common paper, we will have more questions on environment. If you all recollect, there was
Right,
a
right,
discussion,
ma'am,
and
right,
due to
right,
the discussion,
right.
a couple of years we had more questions from environment geography. So UPSC does not follow a set pattern, and that is very true. Every year it tries to surprise the students, and one thing that the students have to remember is, see, all said and done, the fact remains that you don't have to answer all the questions. You don't have to get everything right. There will be at least 15 to 20 questions in the paper which nobody will be able to answer or nobody would have expected. So the surprise element will always remain. What is important to understand is, did they stick to the basics? Were at least a few questions given from the basics? The answer is yes. There were a few questions which were given from the basics in all the subjects. The second is, did they give direct, simple questions? Yes, every year at least 10%, 10 to 15% of the paper will be direct, simple questions where you just have the question and the four options. The same we can notice in this paper also. The third thing that is important is, what do we understand from this paper? The understanding is simple. Everything that comes into the news, especially I can point out a few questions that have been directly taken from PIB. PIB is a very important source of information for students. In fact, in PIB, of late, they have been giving topic based information that will be very useful for you for prelims as well as mains. They are doing these feature articles in PIB. If you can read them, they can be really helpful for you to answer a few questions, especially those questions which are related to policy making in India and India's relationship with other countries. So
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Ma'am, can you take the slide to question number 11? Dinesh sir will elaborate on it.
ma'am, by
And
the
with
time, can
that,
you tell?
guys, just to inform you, we have, as ma'am mentioned, for the PIB and also for the Indian Express and the Hindu, we have special classes running, the live classes by Chaman sir on YouTube. So you can join that also. We put a special emphasis because, as you have already heard from ma'am, we put special emphasis on PIB exclusively. Yes, Dinesh sir, please.
Yes, sir. For example, if you look at question number 11, sir, the statement 1, 2, 3 may not be that much difficult. For example, in statement 1, cement industries account for 5% of global CO2 emissions, which was recently highlighted in the Conference of Parties 2024. It was highlighted, sir. And statement 2, silica bearing clays mixed with cement manufacturing. The Competition Commission of India highlighted that the cement manufacturing should be following certain norms and also what they have to do. And for example, in statement 3, limestone converted into lime, making clinker powder. So leaving that 1 and 2 were in current affairs, sir. 1 and 2 options were in current affairs. 3 is a static topic. So he uses, if we have 3 statements, 2 in current affairs, 1 is a static thing. And look at the options. Only statement 3 directly explains our statement, like for example, he interlinks each statement again. Both statements 2 and 3, both statement 2 and 3 are correct, but only one of the explained statement 1. Like
So
how complex he has made.
Dinesh sir, that it's a mix of both static and current affairs, and current affairs with static both cannot be ignored, and we should go with both aligned.
Yes, sir. Ma'am, do you think how many questions if a student attempts in this out of 100 will be a probable a chance to get clear or get a good amount of marks, ma'am, in like removing negative marks? What is the probable number he should probably be attempted?
Well, a specific number, I don't think so that I can give right now, but I'll ask this to Chaman sir and Deepika ma'am also. But one thing I can be very sure, because with every New Year's exam, you see one trend that number of aspirants are increasing. And with that, you also have the number of repeaters. Okay, the number of repeaters are also increasing. And repeaters, I have always said, have one age. And that age is they are done with their foundations. They are done with their static portion more or less. And they have an advantage that one full 1 year or 6 months they can dedicate to the this current affairs, which you were saying, sir, that it is of utmost important. So citing those repeaters in the mind, I believe the cutoffs has to go up, and you have to get at least in compared to the last 2 to 3 years, you have to get it more right than what has always otherwise have been the trend. Chaman sir, you have been someone amongst us that have give the exam 3 or 4 years back, which was more earlier than our trend. What do you think, sir?
Okay, so like the Dinesh sir is talking about the number of questions that a student must attempt. So I think it depends on the type of candidate who's there. Some who has a very high accuracy and they try to be on a conservative side. For them, at least they should have attempted around 75 questions. And some of those who plays the maximization game, taking into the probability of getting the question right and the negative marking and all their considerations into. So for them, I think they should be doing around 90 plus questions for this particular paper. But depending on the how you have performed in the mocks, so each student, each candidate has a different strategy, so that they should not deviate on the final day. And please let me reiterate that this analysis is not for the students that they have that have come out of the examination hall. It is for the students or the candidates who are just starting their preparation. It's a trend analysis of them. So for the students who has come out of the after giving the paper, please take some proper rest, have good hydration, and relax yourself before the paper 2 of CSAT.
Yeah, ma'am. Yes, Deepika ma'am.
I don't think any of us will actually be able to tell the accuracy in terms of the number of questions to be attempted, because firstly, each student will be sure of a few questions. You know, one might be sure of 25 questions, one might be sure of 30 questions, 35 questions. Depending on how many questions you're sure of with respect to the answers, your guesswork will depend on that accordingly. So rather than predicting how many questions should one answer, I would say if you are scoring anywhere according to the various keys that are going to be released, anywhere between 90, 85, I would say, because there'll always be a variation. With respect of which institute's key it is, always be a variation with the UPSC key. 85 plus, you can start preparing for mains because your result will come faster. So 85 plus, you can start preparing because plus or minus 5 deviation will always be there. I think that would be the case, right,
Thank you,
Chaman?
Deepika ma'am. Guys, just once again to remind all of you, this is Prelims 2025 GS Paper 1 analysis. Right now, we heard from Deepika ma'am that she's saying somewhere around 85. If you have done these papers, you can be very confirm to write your mains, and 85 is quite a very good number. If you have done that, it means you are a very serious aspirant. Along with that, Dinesh sir, what are the other trends for the new?
For example, if you take the question on the screen right now, look at the question. Asmaka, Kamboja, Avanti, Kosla were like history topics.
Right,
and on that side, Godavari, Vipasa, Mahanadi, Sharayu were geography things. He linked Asmaka, which was like, I think, like very old region with Godavari. And Kamboja, I think it was in Tajikistan, Afghanistan, like it used to come in world history. That he included with Vipasa River, which was in this, which is nothing but our Bias River, which is in this Indus Water Treaty like 10 days back. So ancient history, he mixed with the present geography. And Avanti, I think, you know, in Madhya Pradesh and all, which was history thing. Mahanadi, he included with that geography. Same with Kosala. Kosala, like the past in medieval history and where we study this thing. And Sarayu, again in geography. See how beautifully he has made this question, including 2 subjects and 1 current affair. 2 subjects, history, geography, and current
affairs. And then Sarayu might be in the news because of the Ayodhya Ram Mandir consecration ceremony.
Yes, sir. Sarayu and Kosal also.
Yeah, Kosal, same region.
Race is what is mentioned. So yes, we are trying to connect the dots, guys. And if you have just arrived over here, this year trends shows that we have easy to moderate questions. As far as the first reactions we are going on, we are yet to analyze the full questions and yet to bring the full questions PDF or the analyze whatever we'll be bringing. We'll try to bring it very soon. I think we have a time by 5. by 5 or before that? Yes, we all will try to do it before 5, but by 5 you'll be getting the enlarged the whole chunk of the questions. With that, Dinesh sir,
Sure.
what do you think would be the two aspirants doing right now? Because yesterday we were discussing if the first paper goes bad or it's tough, it takes a toll on the aspirants for the CSAT. What do you think?
I request whoever are watching this video or any of the keys right now after your paper one, please don't check your paper. Just don't check your key with your
Yeah,
paper.
don't watch our video
Yes,
right now.
don't watch our video right
Don't
now.
watch our
Start
video right
preparing
now.
for your paper
Watch our
to
video.
have, as ma'am said, have a light food right now. Don't skip your food and be prepared for your paper two. Just if you want, just make a small revision of these formulas. Don't write any of the formulas in any of your paper and don't carry it to your paper two also. That's very important. Don't do that mistake.
Okay. Yes, Chaman sir, would you like to share any of your anecdotes, what you did after your GS paper when one went very well or it went not as expected? What did you do in that middle phase?
Okay, so in the middle phase, it depends on whether you can reach your home, whether your home is in your proximity or not, or like whether you are staying at the center. So if you can come at your home in 10 or 15 minutes, and it's a very good thing to come at home, just relax yourself, take a half an hour of nap or something like that, and then you can just go back to the center in ample time. But if you are at the center, so the most thing, like the gates will be closed, you will be roaming around somewhere on the streets. Find a nice shady place, or with ample shade under a tree, or like in some restaurant or some cafe in the nearby area, and please keep yourself hydrated. So this is the, I think, the peak time of the summer across the country. I think even hill stations are also recording some good amount of summer heat this year. So keep yourself hydrated. If you are pretty much confident about your preparation of the formulas, then do not bother to open the formulas. But if you want a last minute revision, just go with single glance, nothing more than that. Just a single glance. And as Venkat sir has told, do not try to write the formulas anywhere, even on your admit card or your ID card, or even on your body. Do not try to do such stunts.
Yeah, thank you, Chaman sir. Guys, for the aspirants who are preparing, and guys, if you want to contact us for the live batches for UPSC, for TSPSC, for live mentorship with our esteemed Deepika ma'am, this is the number, guys, 770-2026-769. This is the number to contact. And guys, just to remind you again, we have free demo classes running. Yes, it's free. You just join, see how is it going on, and you can also go back and check our recorded classes. If the questions, whatever we are discussing, whatever Dinesh sir is discussing, whatever ma'am is discussing, whatever I am discussing, whatever Chaman sir is discussing, you can go and check in our recorded classes. We have discussed already those all the topics, and this is something which is required. If you see the trend of 2025, this is required. You need to have the thorough study. You need to go a little bit deep into it, and you can't do it without guidance. To be very frank, don't think that I'm promoting my institute. It is about having that thorough study, and that is why you see the advantage. You see the 2024 aspirants topping most of the top 10. You will see they are the repeaters. It's the third attempt, fourth attempt, fifth attempt. Why are they able to crack it at then? Because they have already gone through. Their foundation is very good. You need to build up your foundation. This is the time, guys. This is the number 770-2026-769. Call on the numbers, book your free demo classes. Again, I'll say it's free. You can join and you can have the live mentorship with Deepika ma'am. Yes, Dinesh sir, can you throw back onto some of the points that whatever we have gone through till now about the trends of the questions which have come for the new viewers, for the new audience, and what is the trend that we are going to expect? And with this, I'll also ask Chaman sir and Deepika ma'am, what are we going to expect for CSAT paper? Are we going to see any surprises there or not?
Yes,
I
sir.
don't think UPSC till date has conducted any exam without giving any surprise, Tiwari ji. Thoda bahut to hoga. UPSC
होना भी
wants
चाहिए मैम,
students to
होना
be
भी
on
चाहिए.
their home.
And we should not forget that it is the unpredictable Public Service Commission. You never know what surprise it can throw at you.
Yeah, and even students should not waste first solve all the max questions and don't keep all these comprehensions questions for the end 1 hour or 1.5 hour, which will have abundant pressure. You can't even think, analyze the paragraph if you don't have time. So you have to balance both the comprehensions and reasoning and also maths combinedly together. If not, that will be a very hectic task. With pressure, you can't even think and make a decision. Our brains are not AI. It's not possible to outrightly remove emotions from the subject. So please balance those three things. That's what I should, people should remember, sir.
Well, that
I
is
would
what
like
Dinesh
to
sir
add
has
one
already
thing.
mentioned before, and yes, this is again something which even I completely adhere to what sir has said. That guys, don't leave it for the last, at least comprehension, because what sir has said, the clock will be ticking, and in your mind, comprehension is something you need to comprehend. It is not a math or it is not a reasoning that you'll go by the tricks and you'll just solve it. So if you have to solve the comprehension, you need to properly plan for it. Yeah, and yes, Chaman sir. What do you think for the comprehension part at least? Should we be solving it a little bit
Okay,
earlier or
so
we should leave it for the last?
for me, it's a CSAT strategy can be CSAT, we have three of the sections, broadly speaking. We have the reasoning, we have mathematics, and we have comprehension. So most of the time, it's like a student is having two of them as his or her strong area, and one of them, one of the might be a bit of laggard. So I would say, do not enter the exam room with the baggage that you have to solve the maximum number of questions in CSAT.
True.
That's not the case. If you have a very good accuracy, you can solve only 40 questions and just get away with it. So if you have a good accuracy or you attempt 40 questions and even if you make 10% of the questions wrong, 36 correct answers, 4 wrong answers, you are through. So do not take that much of a stress. Play on your strengths in CSAT.
Okay,
If you
so we have a suggestion from Dinesh sir that don't leave the comprehension for last. Chaman sir is suggesting that you need to be very much accurate that what number of questions you are going to do, and you don't have to attempt all the questions, and you just should be adhere to whatever you have to do, because it's a qualifying paper. Obviously, it's not something which is going to give you edge. And Deepika ma'am, what do you think? If you have to suggest anything?
One suggestion with reference to comprehension, reading the question before the comprehension, entire comprehension will be helpful, because when you have the question in mind, you exactly know what you're looking for in the comprehension. So that is one. And the second thing is, see, irrespective of how much progress we make in terms of technology, AI and all, UPSC paper is a challenge always, because it comes with new dimensions. Students, irrespective of from where they read.
Yeah, that's something, ma'am. And with that, I don't know why, but if I was UPSC, I just sometimes try to guess the question. So they have not yet removed that decision making and interpersonal skill part, okay, from the syllabus. But they are not giving the questions also. The questions came from 2011 to 2014 or 2015. But after that, they didn't give any question from that. This time, when I was suggesting my students, the aspirants, I said that don't ignore that. There can be a chance that you might get, UPSC might want to surprise you with some decision making or interpersonal skill questions which have been left there, but you never know. As ma'am has correctly said that UPSC is known, and sir has also said it is unpredictable. So that is something. Are we live right now?
Yes, sir.
I think ma'am has left and Dinesh sir is now the host.
Okay.
Sir, one word, sir.
Dinesh sir, please share something on the screen, and yeah, then let's carry on.
Yes, sir. Sir, one word. How in the difficulty level, how do you see this particular paper, sir? Was it difficult, and what is your perspective of cutoff? I need from you and Chaman, sir. The level of difficulty and what can be the probable cutoff in one word.
Easy. Yeah, I'll not even go moderate. I'll go easy with my history, and cutoff. As ma'am has said, I'll just be a little less. 80 something. This is in one word which I'll say. And yes, Dinesh sir, you also have to say this after Chaman sir and Deepika ma'am also. Yeah, Chaman sir.
Okay, so in my opinion, the paper is like, if I can say on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say it is around 6 or 6.5. And I'm also taking the length of the question paper into consideration as well. The questions might be easy, but they are very lengthy. And the cutoff, as we have discussed, like I don't see cutoff jumping 95. And so my range will be 90 to 95. But let's see what the CSAT holds into place.
Yes, sir, if the difficulty of the CSAT is very heavy when compared to last year, I think it will be around 93. But if it is easy, I think it may even go to 98, maybe. It depends again. Again, depends on paper too. They have to wait for 2 4 hours more.
So guys, that is what, just to inform you again, this is Prelims 2025 GS paper 1. We are analyzing. We have Deepika ma'am right now. She is not joined, but she will be joining soon. We have Dinesh sir, our esteemed geography faculty. We have Chaman sir, our esteemed science intake and current affairs faculty. I myself, Pratyush Tiwari, for history. And as far as we have gone with the trends right now, we are expecting the cutoffs to go a bit high. We think the questions have been a bit moderate to easy. We have been giving the numbers also. If Deepika ma'am is live now, we will expect her also to say us about the questions. Ma'am, Dinesh sir has put a question, and that question is to you. Dinesh sir, I'd like you to repeat that question to ma'am.
Ma'am, in one word, what is the difficulty level and what will be the cutoff?
Difficulty level is moderate. I will not say very difficult. It's higher side of the moderate, and cutoff around 90, 95. We should not go beyond that.
Yes, I think majority of us agree that current cutoff will be around 93 to 98 at maximum to minimum. So yes, guys, even though you don't count the questions and the answers right now, please wait for paper 2. Once completion of your paper 2, only then count your marks. Don't even discuss with any of your friends. That's waste of time, and it will definitely demoralize you. Even one question wrong, that will definitely demoralize you. So don't discuss. Whatever you have done is definitely done, because you have prepared well when compared to rest of the people. So now concentrate on paper 2. Yes.
Yeah, is my screen shared, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So guys, this is the final set of history questions. We have already discussed 5 questions before, and this is the final set. And these are few of the questions which came. Just quickly, we are going through. This is the first trend. Again, I'm giving you a disclaimer. There might be, while analyzing it now on the first hand, there can be some wrong answers also. So just take it with a pinch of salt. Let's just see this question. Who among the following led successful military campaigns against the kingdom? Okay, a powerful maritime state which ruled the Malaya. Okay, let's Peninsula, Sumatra, Java, and the neighboring islands. And guys, what can be the right answer? It's related with the Cholas, and Rajendra one can be the answer of this. Then the next, with reference to the ancient India, that's 600 to 322 BC. Right now, Dinesh sir was mentioning this question, and this has a mix of current affairs, a mix of geography, a mix of history. That's what UPSC is known for. Okay, this is what UPSC does, that you have to interconnect, not only in the mains. They say only in the mains you have to interconnect the UPSC with the polity. No, you have to interconnect even in the prelims, and this is the question that you will see over here. And it was rightly pointed out by Dinesh sir and Chaman sir also. This Saryu, this Kosar, this was in the news. It was in the current news also, and you can see the answers over there. Then the next question, the first Gandharva Mahavidyalaya, a music training school, was set up in 1901 by Vishnu Digambar Paluskar. Okay, so guys, again, art and culture question, and you have a question from music. Okay, so what do you think, that you will get this question anywhere very easily? No, you have to go with the thorough studies, guys. Thorough study is the way to go. You have to go deep into it, then only you're going to learn for it. And then Ashokan inscription, again a question from Ashokan inscription. This is a trend, guys. If you are a serious aspirant, you should know, whether you're preparing from Shikara Academy or you're preparing for anywhere. And guys, again, I will say you, this is your chance. If you want to get the live mentorship along with the UPSC live batches, TSPSC live batches, this is the chance for you. You have the numbers given below, and you can On our slides already it is mentioned. You can just call on the numbers given below, and this is for free demo classes. We are not charging you guys. It is for the free demo classes for UPSC, for TSPSC. Just come, see, check our previous classes, check our recorded classes. These all the points, these all the questions we have already discussed over there. So let's come back to this. Pradeshika, Raju and Yukta, very important officers. Guys, if you have studied it, district level administration, very straightforward, that would have been the correct answer. Consider the following statement in respect of non-cooperation movement. Non-cooperation movement, we have already seen one question related to non-cooperation movement where we were seeing there was a doubt related to strict non-violence or not. But here, if you see, again, you have a question related to non-cooperation movement and you have a word Swaraj over here. Okay. So if again, just to give you an example, guys, just to give you a very brief example, this Swaraj word is very misinterpreted. Okay, Swaraj is my birthright and my eyes shall have it. Okay, that is what Gangadhar Tilak says. Then you have a Poon Swaraj by Jawaharlal Nehru, 1929-1930. He will hoist the flag beside the Ravi. And then he will also celebrate the complete independence. Okay, so what is actually this Swaraj, you need to understand, and then you are going to frame it according to the non-cooperation movement. Okay, so you need to have that deep study. We have sedition has become my religion. Again, my live batches students, if you are saying this, you must have seen that we have discussed what Gandhi is saying. You know, we were also discussing in a class. You have to go with this. Forget about the famous quotes. Famous quotes are gone these days. You're not going Jai Hind. Who said, give me blood, I'll give you freedom. Who said the other things? They are picking up the lines. Okay, and these lines are coming from where? So you, if here was a non-cooperation movement, that would have also gone, but sedition charge, sword law at Dandi is something which I'd like to go with. Okay, and then the famous, this is very easy, guys. This is very easy. This is like I should say or not, I don't know, but it was like a lollipop given to a child. Okay, dancing girl, Mohenjo-daro. Who doesn't know it was built with bronze? Okay, so you must have seen the figure also. Okay, in Trivanga position. And yes, this is it. This is it here. You're seeing it over here. This is even given in the NCERTs. In every book you see this pic. If you're missing this question, then guys, you seriously need to rethink about your preparation. Who provided legal defense to the people arrested in aftermath of Chauri Chaura incident? Now, this is normally you don't discuss it. Normally, Chauri Chaura is very limited. What do we talk about it? It was an incident in Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh. They burnt alive 22 policemen, and after that, Gandhi called off the non-cooperation movement. We don't read anything aftermath. Aftermath, who is going to teach you? From where it is going to come? It is going to come from the thorough studies, from the in-depth study. Okay, and if you should have gone with this, you should have gone with Deshbandhu or the C.R. Das. Okay, so subsequent to which one of the following events Gandhiji who consistently opposed untouchability. Okay, and Harijans, guys, again the live batches, my students, please, if you can see, and for the other students also, I'm saying call on the numbers given below, join the website, join the app, and there you just go and see the recorded classes. We have discussed after Pune Pact, when Gandhiji has the pact with the B.R. Ambedkar, and now Gandhiji is under pressure. He has to do something for the untouchables, because B.R. Ambedkar is untouchable himself. Gandhiji is not untouchable. So to show that, after he comes out from the Yarwada jail in 1932, there is a pressure roundtable conference which happened in 31 and 32. 31 is attended by him, and then you have the communal awards. So this is not the time that I'm going to go in that detail into it. So that should be the Pune Pact. Who among the following was the founder of the self-respect movement? Again, you have Periyar was in the news, and this is again a straightforward question. You must have known about it. And with that, I've come to the end of history. All the questions we have already discussed. Now, I'd like ma'am and Dinesh sir and Chaman sir to take.
For example, yes, sir, that's very well explained, sir. For example, if you see question number 31, I think you can see my screen, sir, with reference to investments. Is it? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, question number 31, sir. This question was a very common question where, for example, if you're investing in mutual funds, you open Zerodha app, or maybe any grow app, there in the first columns only it will be there. You want to go with the investments, or you want to go with bonds and stocks. These are investments. I think everyone know. Or there is one more column said alternate investment fund. So even you know the basics of economy rather than going with very big books and all, then you can solve this question. Bonds and stocks, they are traditional investments. I think hedge funds and venture capitalists, they are like alternative investments. So you and I can't invest in that particular thing. And similarly, you can see one more question. The next question, RBI, what RBI does. If you see the fourth question, fourth option, printing and distributing currency notes, lending to private companies. If you can eliminate that option, you can eliminate majority of the options here. So one option is difficult, one option is very easy. See the trend, for example, pension fund management. RBI does not manage any pension fund for income and all. And buying and selling of government bonds. This is what the basic that we even tell to, like in any of the books, even you open any of the standard books and NCRTs also. But look at the fifth option, printing and distribution of currency notes. So is it the major source of income? So if anyone sees that particular question, yes, RBI does that, printing and distribution of currency. But income for the Reserve Bank, that's not the major source of income for the RBI.
Right.
Distribution, it is not a source of income.
Right.
So the trend is like completely different this time in terms of economy. Even in the next question of 34 Reserve Bank of India question also. So Reserve Bank of India mandates like all the listed companies to give like a business responsibility report this year only. And it was in news that Reserve Bank of India says I have limited responsibility. It is SEBI who takes care, not me.
True,
right?
sir. True.
It was said recently in the recent budget sessions and all. It said that SEBI is the one who has to take care. So it was current affairs questions more or less in economy also, I think, sir. Chairman, sir, if you can correct me.
Yeah, before that, Chaman sir, Deepika ma'am is ready with some of the questions, I think. Ma'am?
Yeah, I'm ready with 83 onwards. If you can just share the screen.
Yeah.
Whoever is sharing,
There is
just
a
go
time
to
to go to
83,
83.
please. Polity, usually the questions are a little balanced. Usually that is the case, and that can be seen from this question. With reference to India, consider the following: the Interstate Council, the National Security Council, and Zonal Councils. Please come to the question in the next column. How many of the above were established as per the provisions of the Constitution of India? Meaning they are asking which of the following is a constitutional body, to put it simple. And whenever it comes to authorities, we tell students that you have to know whether a body is constitutional, statutory, or extra legal. It is very, very important. That is the first basic thing you should know. Out of the options given, the Interstate Council, the National Security Council, and Zonal Councils, Interstate Council is the only constitutional body. It is provided for under the Constitution, under Article 263. So that is how you should be aware of. This is a simple question. Anybody who's prepared a little would know about it. The next, Constitution of India explicitly mentions that this 84th question is an application-based question. Unless you are clear about the relationship between governor and of ministers, you cannot answer this question. The question goes like this. The Constitution of India explicitly mentions that in certain spheres, the governor of a state acts in his or her own discretion. Okay. Explicitly means it is directly written in the Constitution that the governor can act in his own discretion, which is true. According to the Constitution, governor is not, whenever there is a question whether the governor is bound by the advice of the Council of Ministers, Constitution says he can use his discretion. It is clearly, the word discretion is clearly mentioned under Article 63. So therefore, the first statement is correct. It is explicitly given in the Constitution. Now, when it comes to Supreme Court's interpretation, that's a different story altogether, because Supreme Court says that because the CM and Council of Ministers represent the elected members, their advice should be followed by the governor. Only under certain situations he can use his discretion. That's different. But Constitution does mention the word discretion. So first option is right. The second one, the President of India can, of his her own reserve a bill passed by a state legislature for her consideration without it being forwarded by the governor of the state concerned. This particular option is based on the current most important judgment that was given by the Supreme Court a couple of weeks back. It is related to governor's power to reserve a bill, and governor can he exercise pocket veto for how much time? And for the first time, Supreme Court has imposed a limit, a time limit for taking decisions. On the basis of that, this question has been asked. In the Constitution, nowhere it is given that the president can directly reserve a bill for a consideration by himself without the governor reserving it. So the second option is incorrect. We only go with the first option. Now moving on to the 85th.
Ma'am, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, the option 2 was one of the 14 questions made by the president to the Supreme Court.
Yes. But as on date, in the Constitution, nowhere it is written that the president can directly reserve a bill. So we have to wait for what the Supreme Court has to say on it. Now, moving forward, the 85th question is also a very simple question. It is simply asking you to identify the provision and it comes under what. And this is related to DPSP duties and rights. We usually tell the students that from Article 12 till 51A, every provision is important. They have to be aware of each and every clause and subclause in these articles because they're very, very important. And this question is directly related to it. Separation of judiciary from the executive in the public services of the state. Separation of judiciary in the executive from the executive is actually given under DPSP. So the first option is correct. Valuing and preserving the rich heritage and of our composite culture is in duties. Prohibition of employment of children below the age of 14 years in factories and mines is related to child labor. So this is also correct. All three options are correct. This question, according to me, 83 and 85 should be a cakewalk for any student who's read polity well. I mean, has a decent understanding of polity. Let's go to 86. If when I was going through the PYQs, one thing that I've noticed is questions on scheduled and tribal areas, Schedule 5 and Schedule 6 have been asked repetitively in the exam. And remember, it also is important from the society perspective. In mains, under Indian society, it is important. Social justice important. PESA and Forest Rights Act are the two most important legislations enacted in India for the scheduled tribes. So you have to know about them. Now, this particular question is related to the scheduled areas. And the question goes like this: with reference to the Constitution of India. If they give you with reference to the Constitution of India, you should actually identify what is given in the Constitution of India in Schedule 5. Okay. In a state is declared, if an area in a state is declared as scheduled area under the 5th schedule, the state government loses its executive power in such areas and a local body assumes total administration is completely incorrect. The state government will continue to have its executive powers, but the local authority will have certain rights to protect the interests of the tribes there. So we are giving extra powers to the local administration. We are not taking away powers from the state government. Therefore, the first option is incorrect. The union government can take over the total administration of such areas under certain circumstances on the recommendations of the governor is correct. If at all the governor gives a report that the union should intervene, the union will have the power to intervene. So we go with 2. B will be the right answer. Now, moving forward, the 87th question is related to the organizations and the ministry they belong to. Usually,
They
this
have interchanged options, ma'am, 1 and 2.
Yeah, they just interchange the options. All 3 options are incorrect, but usually you get this information in India Yearbook. See, all these organizations are in news one time or the other. So whenever a body is in news, it is important that you understand what is the basis for this body, under whom does this body work. The National Automotive Board works under the Ministry of Heavy Industries. Choir Board is under Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, and National Center for Trade Information comes under Commerce and Industry. So these were the few questions that I wanted to talk about. Any of you would like to take any more questions?
Yeah, before our other educators tell us about their questions and their analysis about it, guys. This is the GS paper 1 analysis that we are doing live for you, and the trends that we have seen, we have moderate to easy questions, and we are expecting the cutoffs to go high according to our esteemed educators over here. And we have also discussed few of the questions with you. We'll be bringing the complete analysis for you as soon as possible. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll get the links. And also, guys, just to inform all of you, we are starting the live batches for UPSC and TSPSC. So if you're interested, the link is in the description below, and you can call on the numbers to go for the free demo classes. Yes, we are offering the free demo classes, so you can join over there. Yes, Chaman sir and Dinesh sir, I'll like to ask, apart from the questions to get directly solved, tell me, what are the sources, do you think? Are the sources like the NCERTs still capable enough to solve the respective subjects I'm talking about, like geography for Dinesh sir and for Chaman sir, I'm talking about the science and tech. Obviously, the current affairs need to go through the newspapers. And yes, for the current affairs also, to Chaman sir, you come after Venkat sir, and be prepared with one question specifically. Is the newspaper reading is the way to go forward, or we know we got to go with the gist or the newspaper magazines, the current affairs magazines? What do you think about the weekly classes or the daily classes and all? Yeah, Dinesh sir, please.
So the trend, if you observe carefully, whatever things that are there in the Hindu newspaper, they have been highlighted, sir, but not just exclusively current affairs. They have added one or two options of basic standard NCERTs. So NCERT, without NCERT, yes, we cannot solve complete options. Two options you can eliminate, but remaining two options, for example, petroleum natural gas board here, without knowing differences between crude oil, petroleum, and where we will refine, what are the, where we production of natural gases, where we have KG basin and all, without that you can't solve. Similarly, without knowing current affairs like above activities by regulatory board and all, so you need to have a basic NCERT knowledge which you should never leave. But just relying on any private publications will not solve, particularly this year's papers. We should we should get knowledge from the current affairs. It can be Hindu, and as ma'am said, Press Information Bureau, I can directly see 3 to 4 questions asked about. For example, the 87th question directly, just by namesake, if you just refer Press Information Bureau, you can solve 87th question. And there are so many questions from India yearbook also. It can be history questions, 2 history questions I can just we can see. And economy questions are also there. What is investment fund? What is like regular funds and all? So the standard books, yes, you have to refer. And Press Information Bureau, government authentic sources, you can find more number of questions this year from government authentic sources rather than going with any publications this time.
So the government
I would
authentic
like to add one
sources
more
along
point
with,
here.
yeah,
I would like to add one more point here. Students should remember that NCERTs and PIB is a resource that is available to everybody,
Okay.
length and breadth of the country. And UPSC will usually prepare at least a few questions from those resources which are easily available to all. There is no way that UPSC will totally shun off NCERTs and PIB. And one more understand is all the newspapers, the information that they give about the government policies and decisions, that is taken from PIB.
True,
It is
ma'am.
not created by the press, it is taken from PIB. Finance Commission recommendations have been asked, it is from PIB. Rashtriya Gokul Mission is from PIB. So if PIB is a very reliable source, that cannot be avoided. Please continue, Chaman. You were trying to say something.
Yes, before Chaman sir continues, I'll again like to remind Chaman sir also takes live classes for PIB, including the Indian Express and the Hindu. Okay, those are there on our YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to the channel for the classes. And with that, I'll just add one more point. What Dinesh sir and Deepika ma'am both have said, that you need to first build your foundation. NCERTs are the thing to build upon the foundation, and then the government authentic sources, that what Dinesh sir and both ma'am were talking about, the PIB and the India yearbook and all, they will add to it. Yes, Chaman sir, please.
Yeah, for the subject of science and tech in this particular paper, see, as mentioned, NCERT is important. No second thoughts about it, because it makes the foundation. You came to know about the different chemical compositions and the basics of human body, and the general science part of the NCERT cannot be neglected. Moreover, this year it is focusing on the technologies that are in news. So we have some AI model that has been developed by Microsoft. The news was in Feb 2025. It's question number 6 or 7. I couldn't recall right now. So it was there. We had the military aircrafts. We have a question on military aircraft, like which one is the transport vehicle, which one is for the marine reconnaissance and all that stuff. So these things, they remain in news. And moreover, like we were telling the sources for the current affairs, I think the PIB, I think the winner of this UPSC Prelims 2025 is the explained Hindu articles and the PIB, I think the year-end review of every ministry. Nobody pays a focus on that thing, and it has in-depth knowledge about everything. They review it has been developed by the respected professors, bureaucrats, and other team. It is a very good source, and we will be incorporating that into our courses soon.
Yeah,
Year-end reviews
that's what
basically
Deepika ma'am
for
has always talked about. Yes, that's the sources, what Chaman sir just mentioned. That is what Deepika ma'am keeps on emphasizing upon. We have heard many times, and her, whatever the aspirants are, or the students, they must know that what Chaman sir said, that is what we emphasize upon. And yes, Deepika ma'am.
Year-end reviews for information of the students are those 1 year events that the ministry has done over, for example, 2024 year-end review will give you complete information on for all initiatives done by that particular ministry for the year 2024. And please remember, these year-end reviews are actually reviewed by the parliamentary committees. DRSCs review them and they are posted in PIB. They are very important information. You get the latest statistics and all recent developments, policies, programs, schemes of the ministry from year-end reviews. Year-end reviews is like, you can simply read the gist of whatever the ministry did for a year. Should you read all the ministries? At least the most important ministries like social justice is there, finance is there, external affairs is there. So like that, even if you can identify 10, and trust me, they're not very lengthy. You can easily read them. Many of us have a problem reading the government pro forma of information, but they're easy.
Okay, guys. So this is again to inform all of you, all the viewers who have joined us quite early. In last few minutes, guys, this is the trend analysis of UPSC paper 2025 GS paper 1, the general studies paper. We are analyzing it with Deepika ma'am for the polity, with Dinesh sir for geography, Chaman sir for science and tech, and myself for history. And guys, what we have analyzed till now is the question label have been easy to moderate. The cutoffs are going to go high, and we have tried to have a thorough discussion of all the subjects, including history, science and tech, current affairs, geography, environment, and polity as well. We will be having
before
yes,
Tiwari 1 minute, there are messages in the live chat. They're asking about the cutoff. I just hope these students are not the ones who written the exam, because worrying about the cutoff before your paper 2 makes no sense.
That's a disclaimer. That's a disclaimer that ma'am and we all are putting. Cutoffs cannot be ever exact. Okay, so don't go for that. And secondly, if you're going to go for the paper 2, guys, please shut the video. Okay, it's going to hamper our live viewership, but just go and concentrate on your exam. That is much more important for us than you coming here as viewer. And yes, if you are an aspirant going to attempt the next year, yes, ma'am. For them, we can give an assumption.
For them, we are initial trend, because we are yet to get the feel of the students. We will be getting information from our own students as to how they've done. On the basis of that, we usually conclude the cutoff, but initial assumption going by the paper and comparing it with the previous year papers, we assume it to be anywhere between 92 to 98. I think all of you agree with the range I'm telling. 92 to 98, but I don't see it crossing 100. I really don't see it crossing 100. 92 to 98 would be the expected cutoff. That is what we primarily analyze. But once we go into the details, once we talk to the students, Tiwari ji will give us a feedback from his place.
Yeah.
I'll get a feedback from here. So, once we get the general feel of the students, then we'll be in a position to give a more accurate. But there is nothing like exact cutoff. Nobody can give. I believe that no institute, no teacher will be able to give a exact cutoff because nobody knows the exact key. UPSC always has its own key.
Right, ma'am. And we are going to close it. But before closing, we like to have closing comments. And obviously, it should come first from Deepika ma'am. She is one of our esteemed faculties and we are mentor also. We look up to her. So, ma'am, overall, just sum up in 2 lines or whatever.
Paper is more than moderate, not very difficult. If a student has stuck to the core properly, understood the subject's core properly, they should have answered, because we are talking only about getting through the prelims. We are not talking about topping the prelims. So let's remember that we are not talking about topping the prelims. There is nothing like that. Getting through the prelims, yes, if you have really done your core well, you're conceptually in place and you could read between the lines, then the paper is okay. The key will be uploaded by 5, the detailed analysis, so you can check that out. But otherwise, those who are writing till 5 o'clock, please shut your minds as to what will be the key for both the papers. Once you're out of CSAT, then you can get into the debate. Maybe you all can join, you can leave the comments. We will answer them when we actually go to give the total analysis later.
Yeah, that was a quick point. I'll also remind anyone who will be joining, if you could not join us live, if you have any question, please put your questions on the comment section and we will try to answer it there. Yes, Dinesh sir, your
based on the difficulty level, yes, we have almost like correct me if I'm wrong, 13 lakh students applied this year, and we hardly have 970 or 980 posts. So that is on one side, and if you take on the subject side, there is different trends in geography, polity, history, current affairs. So based on the competition, though paper was moderate to less difficult, because of the competition, the cutoff might increase. That is what I feel.
That's true. Easier paper always goes for higher cutoffs. Yes, Chaman sir.
Okay, so like as summarized by Deepika ma'am and Venkat sir, the paper was moderately, so I have scaled it around 6.5 out of 10 on a scale of 10. I would say that, yeah, the applicants this year was more than the past years and the trends we have seen, but we are yet to know how many of them actually appeared for the paper.
True.
That will decide the cutoff. It is one of the major factors that will determine the cutoff. And most of we will make the most accurate key from our end, from our behalf. And we try to predict the cutoff, but we do not know what this unpredictable Public Service Commission will come up to. They dropped 3 questions last year. They might drop 5 questions this year.
True.
We can never be so sure about the cutoff, but yeah, I think the cutoff will be the safe range, ma'am, as ma'am has said, 95 plus or minus 3, 92 to 98 marks, something like that. That will be the cutoff. And yeah, one more thing is like that, as I have highlighted it earlier as well. So the attention span of a candidate is getting smaller, or any average human is getting smaller day by day, because of all
the
this
social media.
Yeah, because of the Insta nonsense reels and shorts and something like that. So because of that, the students or the candidates might find it difficult to concentrate for long 2 hours, and that too in this paper in which they have to read a lot. So that is also one of the observations that I have made. Thank you.
Yeah, so guys, with that, we are coming to the end. Thank you so very much if you have watched it, and we'll be bringing you the complete analysis, and we'll try to put it as accurate as possible. Once again, to all the aspirants of ours and all the aspirants for UPSC who are going to prepare for the paper 2, all the very best to all of you. And we will meet again with the complete analysis. Okay. And if you have any questions, guys, once again, if you have any questions, put in the comments. In the description, there is the link for the live batches for UPSC and also for TSPSC. And before I just call it an end, guys, this is the time. Buck up, have your foundation build up, and then add the icing on the cake with current affairs. And that's the way where you can be from an aspirant, you go to become an administrative officer. Okay. Thank you so very much, guys. Thanks a lot. And thank you to all of you.
everyone.
Deepika ma'am, thank you. Chaman sir, thank you. Dinesh sir.